Good morning. We are going to talk today about pricing and discounts and our opinion on discounting right now, which you might find interesting because we have a very specific opinion about whether you should be discounting or not. And that's what we're going to really talk about today. I'm actually just going to go and open that. We were saying before we hit live, Laura and I usually have meetings at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning just to go over like the daily things that happen, all the things. And we were saying how we wake up so optimistic because we both have kids at home about how the day is going to go. And I mean, let's just, all things being equal, it's not bad. Like it's not, it's not horrible. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Monica, Kim, and Mary. Hello, everyone. How are your days going? Tell us in the comments. Versus us, we'll share ours, but you need to share too, just so that we don't feel like the odd ducks stuck in Groundhog's Day. And, optimism land. What were you saying this morning, Laura, about your days? Good morning.
I've revised it since then. So this is what I feel like I go through every day. I feel like every day is like the week when you come back from vacation. Okay. So bear with me. You wake up, it's Monday morning, you're raring to go, you're feeling real good. You get up, you start your day, you're optimistic. And then I feel like by, 11 o'clock, it's like Wednesday night. So we've gone through like the first 3 days, like you're hitting the hump day here, but you're like, it's okay. I got this. I can keep going. And then I feel like by like 5, it's Friday at like 9 p.m. And somebody's just been like following me around with like a bag of bricks, like threatening to hit me over the head with them, like over and over and over again every day.
Yeah.
And like, not to that extent, but it's just, the optimism in the morning to like the reality by 5 o'clock is very different.
Yeah, totally. Like, I love that you guys are chiming in here in the sense of like, we are not the only ones feeling this way. Lori on Facebook, I feel you. My kids are going to their dad's today for the first time in like over a week and a half. And I'm like,
there's no words
because there's just no words. And I mean, they're only going for a night, but it's just, I was walking yesterday down the street, we were going for a walk, and I was like, this is really nice. Like, I haven't spent this much time with my kids in years, and like this much time, right? This much like connected time, which has been lovely. And then I was like, oh my God, this is day 2 of an unknown amount of days. Like, is this actually what is going to be like? And it sort of hit me, like the reality of what we're dealing with here I know for some of you, school has been canceled like indefinitely. That is not the case here. So they've just extended the day that they go back. But I realized yesterday as we were walking, I was like, oh my God, this is day 2 of an indefinite number of days. Like, right? Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we're in it just like you. We are experiencing the same things just like you. Maya says, I'm a proper roller coaster of today. It's, 2:40 now. Oh, we're your afternoon fun. Great. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Kids are in front of the TV. Wendy says, day full of dog GSD can be challenging with the GSD. Nosing in for attention. Yep. Tia, mind blown how long this will change. Cleaning, cooking. Oh my God, can we talk about the amount of meals being served in my home and the never-ending roster of dishes? Wow.
Yeah.
This is not something that,
Also,
wait,
before we move on,
the venting session. Let's just vent. Everybody just go. We're going to go 2 minutes. Just go.
This is I had a full-blown panic attack last night in bed at about 11 o'clock.
Which is rare for you because you don't really have emotions.
No.
Like that.
You're gonna actually laugh a lot about this. My panic attack was that all these people are home not working, so they're cleaning, and I'm seeing their progress online and their clean rooms and their clean closets and like all of the things that is happening in their house. And I look around and my house is a shit show right now. Like my closet is the messiest room in the house. Like it is a disaster. The kitchen is not getting cleaned. The cupboards are still overflowing. Like I'm going to be so far behind the whole world when we come out of this thing.
You won't.
It was a moment of panic. I'm not gonna
lie. Oh, totally. I mean, I finished work yesterday at, I don't even know, 4:30, and I went into the kitchen and I just stood there and I ran out of dish soap. So for me, going to any store right now is actually traumatic and terrifying. And I just went to like the corner store. I didn't even go into the grocery store because that just takes me days to recover now. So I've learned from like an emotional standpoint. And I just stood at like the entrance to the kitchen and I just looked at it and I was like, well, this is life. This is just with, normally it's just me. So how much mess can I make with my like one meal in my feeding hour, because I do intermittent fasting. So I really only eat 2, maybe 3 times a day, and they're like preset meals. So there's no like, mess. Oh Lord, with the baking. She's baking while I'm working. And it's like, girlfriend, you want to bake, you got to clean. Anywho, Melanie says, yeah, it's a constant. Okay, what's the next meal? Yep. Oh my God, we ate dinner last night. I said, what are we going to have for dinner tomorrow? I know. But it's like, we still do that every day, but it just feels so different now. It feels so different now because we're home all day and there's people around all day. I'm not used to having people around all day. And we were walking and I was like, can you guys just walk 10 steps behind me? Just walk 10 steps behind me. Please stop talking. Just stop talking. For like, just give me a minute, just stop talking, and it's just, it is what it is, right? And we're all just, Julie says, per kids are grown and we are empty nesters. Yeah, send some of that my way. Yeah, you eat all day long. Yeah, totally. So, listen, like, I'm glad we can listen, all you can do is laugh. Like, you can be terrified and laugh, right? We live in the and. Like I have the tattoo on my wrist. We can be annoyed and terrified and all of those things and just be like, all right, this is life now. This is fucking life. Like this, let's just go and make the most out of it. So with that little fun giggle on a Wednesday morning, first things first, I realized this morning, I'm like, I forgot to tell everybody that my book is coming out on Friday. And in the midst of all of this, I'm supposed to be launching a book. So I wrote a book. It's called The Successful Practitioner. Actually, though, we are having a book launch event Friday night with myself and Dr. Stephanie Estima, Dr. Brianne Callanan, Stephanie Joanne, and Melissa Ramos. I put the link on Facebook. At this point, Amazon and I are not friends. You cannot buy my book off Amazon, unfortunately, which means that we are having to now self-mail the books, which I will do. I will go to the post office during a pandemic so that I can get you the book. But the only way to actually get the book is to come to the digital event because we packaged it all up. So if you want the book actually goes through every single thing that we've been talking about. And will continue to talk about in a very systematic and succinct way. So if, you're having trouble right now, like figuring out what to do, when you purchase your digital event ticket, you will get the ebook immediately. So it's like your guide. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, other than the fact that I wrote the damn book myself, going over to Facebook, or if you're not on Facebook, you can send me a DM if you're on Instagram and I'll send you the link. Come join us Friday night. It's on Zoom. We were supposed to run it in person. Obviously that's not happening. It's on Zoom. It's going to be a 3-hour event. We are going to not talk about the current situation because I want to break from it. For 3 hours, I just want to bubble myself and be with my friends and be in community with like-minded people and just like vision this life and this business. So if you're looking for a little mental break, if you're looking for some inspo, if you're looking for some empowerment, and just you have questions to ask these amazing practitioners, please do head over and get your ticket. You will get a signed mailed copy of the book and all the book bonuses and all that good stuff. So that's my, today's episode has been brought to you by the Successful Practitioner book that I am launching on Friday amidst chaos. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Friday night. So even if you can't come, you will get the replay. So we're going to record it. You'll get the replay. You can still submit questions and all of that good stuff. All right. So let's dive in. Today we are talking about, hold on, see less. There we go. Today we are talking about pricing. And we have some specific ideas about pricing, not ideas, positions, I will say, opinions, about thoughts about pricing that we really want to share with you. Because we don't want you to make this mistake because it's going to be hard to recover from it. So do you want to kick it off and just sort of share our position on, first of all, what does a price say? And should or should we not discount right now?
Totally. So, I mean, I feel like this is very, very black and white. So the price of your program is indicative of the value that the program has. And over and above all else, a price is an indicator of an energy exchange. So the amount of energy that you are giving out should be in direct proportion to the amount of energy coming in to meet you, which is the price. So those two things combined tell us that you should not deep discount or discount your signature program. Your signature program, what you are basically building your entire business around, the transformation that you are providing to people should never be devalued in that way. And we'll talk about all of the reasons why and what to do instead. But at the end of the day, if you deep discount your program, you are saying that it no longer has the value that it had. It no longer is worth $9.97, $14.97, $19.97, or whatever it is. It's now worth $5.97 or $6.97. And if nothing's changed in the program, you are now saying that the transformation you provide is less valuable, which is a really, really dangerous message. And it's also something that's really hard to ever come back from.
Yeah. And I want to explain the psychology behind this. So right now we see a lot of practitioners and coaches making emotional decisions because they are operating under the assumption that no one, blanket statement, is going to be spending money on their health. No one is going to, no one can afford $14.97, $19.97, whatever it is that you charge. Okay, so let's even assume that it's like a one-on-one consultation, whatever it is, excuse me, that no one is going to be able to afford that. First of all, we're actually seeing evidence of the opposite, where our clients are getting paid in fulls for $9.97 programs, $14.97 programs. So we're seeing evidence of the opposite, and we know that there always are going to be a percentage of the population that wants to take action, that they have the mindset of, I think somebody posted a screenshot in 10K or Grow, where their client actually said, hey, I'm home now. I actually have more time to cook and to move my body. Now feels like the right time to do this because I actually am less busy, right? I'm less busy. And so what we're asking first and foremost is for you to take your assumptions out of it and for you to take your emotion out of it. And remember that anyone at any time, regardless of whether we're in a pandemic or not, they're going to buy something because they feel that they need it and that it is valuable and the only way that they're going to be able to get rid of the pain that they're in. And when you discount, you're making the decision based on whether or not they like the price. not based off of whether or not they need it and feel like you and your program are the specific right option or opportunity to get them the result. Don't make their decision to work with you a financial decision based off of price, because what you're doing when you say, well, it's the pandemic and I'm going to offer this program at 50% off, you're giving them an opportunity to devalue their own commitment, because now they're saying, well, all right, well, this was only $500, so whatevs.
Exactly.
Right? You're not holding them to the standard and the level of commitment that they need to be held to because you've devalued the price. So let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you, if you're able to see it from a different perspective when we explain it that way. We do not want you haggling over price. This is not, no one else in any other industry, maybe they give a little bit of, they put it on sale, or they give, some type of coupon or whatever. But, again, you're not going to go to your dentist and say, well, it's COVID-19. So can you give me a root canal at 50% off? They're going to be like, no. Maybe they'll work with you and we'll talk about how to manipulate pricing. Yep. That's different, right? But please, please, please do not make working with you contingent upon a discount. That's not the way that you want to attract ideal clients. That's not the way that you want to work with them, right? No other industry really does that. So Kush is saying, I actually am more motivated to share my full price at this time. This is the biggest reason everybody should value their health. Yes. And what we were saying before we hit record was, Laura was saying, sorry, I'm getting text messages. Laura was saying, it's hard to come back from the discount, right? Do you want to share a little bit about why that is?
Yeah. And I'll preface it to say, like, this comes before I was in health and wellness. I was in retail, and retail is the industry that thrives on discounting things. And so about 10 years ago, we can take a huge lesson from this. Retail went through this period of deep discounting. So there was this drive to get to the bottom fast, and whoever had the best price would win. And we saw it firsthand. And it went on for a couple of years. And then what happened was profits were down, and retail stores and chains decided they needed to stop discounting. And what had happened was that they had trained their customers to wait for the discount all day, every day. And so nobody would buy at full price. And it actually, the chain that I worked for, I managed a store for, had to go right back to discounting because profits dropped so much that they could no longer pay or charge full price to their customers. And so that, if we take that lesson and bring it here, it's the exact same thing. If you say now that your program, your transformation, whatever it is, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's a program, whatever, it's worth right now $497. So how can you justify it being worth $997 60 days from now when things go back to normal, right? Like, nothing's changed. You're still providing the same transformation. Everything that they're getting is the same thing. So everybody who's watching you, as you're showing up as the leader, right? As you're leading your people through this and making offers to them, they're watching you offer your program for X amount now. If they already know that it's valued at $497 in their brain, regardless of discounting or whatever, to them, that's what it's worth. You will then never be able to confidently charge double or triple that because you've already told them the value. You've told them the value of the transformation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. And there's a difference between panicking and emotionally being like, no one's going to buy, I have to discount. We've had people in the 10K success system say, should I offer my program at 50% off? And we're like, please don't ever do that.
Never.
Don't ever offer that. So here's what you can do instead. Here's some suggestions that we have for you. Instead of discounting, here's what we see that's working right now with our clients. So number one, coming up with creative payment plans. So
Yes.
having, if you previously had, sorry, I had a hair that was really bothering me. If you previously had a 3-month payment plan, maybe you want to make it an extended 5-month payment plan, even if they're paying after they're done your program, even if your program is 3 months long, so 12 weeks, typically we would say every 30 days. But if you need to extend it and come up with, flexible pricing, because you want to work with them and get them in now because they really need your support because their symptoms are exacerbated. They're not coping well with the scenario. You don't want them to fall back and, undo all of the good work that they've been doing. Whatever the message is for you, whatever the positioning is for you, you can offer flexible pricing, right? You can offer an extended payment plan. The other thing that we see working right now with our clients that is getting them clients is by increasing the value. So if you have an online program, or even if you're doing, let's just say, like one-on-one personal training or consultations or work, whatever it is that you're doing, come up with something extra. Maybe that's private calls with you. Maybe that's partnering up with a friend who offers a different service but still benefits the ideal client, and getting them to do some workshops or whatever they do it with your clients, right? Maybe it's putting together an additional training for them that's exclusive to this, this time to help them work through it. Maybe you can offer an implementation session. There's so many different creative ways to increase the value of what you're offering because you know that they need the extra support right now. So this is being of service. This is expansive. This is a way to expand and offer them more value, more support, more accountability in their time of need without, and it's actually, if you position it this way, you're like, and it's not going to cost you anything extra.
Exactly.
Right. And if you position it that way to say, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this. And you know what? I know that this is a stressful time, and I'm giving you this because you need it. And I want to be able to support you through it. And it's not even going to cost you anything extra because your time is valuable. So when you position it that way, as this isn't even, I'm not even going to charge you for this. Like, I'm just going to give this to you for free. Would you like to invest in full, or would you like to take advantage of a flexible payment plan? When you position it that way, it's positive, it's expansive, it's supportive, it's inspiring, versus I'm going to discount the program for you, okay? Because that's negative. That's scarcity.
Yeah.
I know you're struggling right now. I know finances are rough. I know this is going to be really hard for you to do. So here's what I'm going to discount it. There's a different energy there, right? And there's a different level of authority there when you play it that way versus offering more, making the offer so jam-packed and so incredible that it's going to be really hard for them to say no. There's a difference. Let me know in the comments if you can feel the difference in what I just said, right? If you can feel the difference in the expansive offer versus the scarcity discounted offer, right? And you can see how you can do that. Even those of you that are licensed, right? You can put together an ebook. You can put together workshops. You can put together audios to complement your one-on-one sessions. What were we talking about before about the one-on-ones? Oh, packaging. Do you want to talk about packaging?
Yeah, for sure. So if you are offering one-on-ones and you're trying to figure out how you can make this shift to the online version and how to make it a transformation versus selling one-off, which, let's face it, isn't very helpful when you're solving a problem that is a need for people. You can't solve a problem in 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 60 minutes. That's not realistic, no matter how good you are. So again, the conversation needs to be with the client or the potential client is that this is the step-by-step process in which I can solve this problem for you. So it's going to take me, maybe 5 sessions, and we're going to progressively work through like session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until we hit, the end where this is going to be the transformative result. And we don't do just an individual session because I can't fix it. I can't fix it in one session. This is a step-by-step system that, I have created that works, that solves this problem. And so it needs to be positioned as this complete package, right? It's a package. It's not a one-off. It's not a 60 minutes of your time. It goes back to our previous conversation on the offer and what you're actually offering them, right? This all fits together, like step by step by step. It all fits together, that you have this offer that in X amount of sessions, you're going to solve the problem. And so that's how we would like you guys to think about packaging and how to creatively put together something that maybe you haven't done before in an online format or even an offline format if you're coming from a clinic setting where you do one-on-one sessions, right? This is how to think about it.
Yeah. And I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. I had it and now I don't have it. Hold on. Oh my God. What? Like literally?
Okay, I'm gonna say
Keep
something
talking.
I was thinking, and then you'll probably think of it. So I was thinking on the other side of it, just while you were talking before we talked about packaging, going back to discounts and the idea of expansive versus non-expansive. For those of you who are tempted to offer discounts or who have in the past, I want you to think about how it feels to deliver the level of service you would deliver at $14.97 for say $4.97 or $7.97, right? Because going back to it being an energy exchange, you're still outputting the same amount of energy, probably more in this scenario, because people are going to need you more and they're going to need more support and have more specific questions. And so if you are not being paid the value of what energy you're putting out there and helping them with, you're going to start to feel really not good. It's going to start to feel like they're taking advantage of you, and they're not. Like, you offer them the pricing, but it'll start to feel that way. And you'll start to feel resentful of having to show up and answer all these questions and be at their, beck and call sometimes because you did not respect the energy exchange. And so now you put yourself into a system of imbalance.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. I still don't remember what I was going to say, so that sucks.
It's over.
It's done. It's over. I'm over it. It's gone. But I think for those of us who've been in practice for any length of time, we've done that, and we end up wishing that we didn't. It's like taking, people on that are not a good fit just because you need the money. And then it ends up being a nightmare and a headache, and it's no good for anybody. So, that's another really good reason why you definitely don't want to discount. The last thing that we were going to talk about today also is guarantees. So instead of us going through it, I've actually linked to a podcast episode. I host a podcast called The Business of Becoming, and I did an entire podcast episode about what is a guarantee, how to create one, the specific things that you need to include or should include in your guarantee. And I've linked that over on the Facebook page. But if you're watching on Instagram, just send me a DM and I will shoot you over that podcast episode, because there's nothing in it that, we should repeat. It's all right there for you. And then the last resource we have for you too is a naming and pricing guide over on Facebook. So if that's something that you want on Instagram, again, send me a DM and I will get you the link. We just want to make sure that you are weathering this storm with integrity, that you are not acting out of emotion and scarcity and operating under assumed beliefs that have no data to be proven true, right? So I want you to check yourself. If you're like, nobody will pay, ask yourself, do you have proof of that? Are people buying things? Are people buying things around you? Yes, they are. If you need to check in, you can send me a DM and you can say, do you think that this is an emotional reaction or is this true? And likely I'm going to show you a screenshot of why it's not true and why it's an emotional reaction to whatever it is that you're having right now. I remember what I was going to say.
Yes.
I love when that happens. I think we said this at the beginning of the week. It could have been last week. Honestly, I have no idea what day I said this, but I want you to think about where you're going to be in 6 months from now. I want you to think about your business, how you feel about yourself, what you've accomplished, if anything. Also, if you don't want to, no pressure, right? But this is not going to be the only shit season that we're going to have to weather as entrepreneurs, as business owners. More than anything, I think for the licensed profession, you are being shown right now that you must be an entrepreneur first, right? If like, I was really thinking about this, and it's like, for all of those people who work in clinic, who rely on the coming and going of patients or clients without really needing to like market and strategize and lead gen and doing all of the very needed business things, you are being shown right now that your tools of trade are just tools of trade, right? That you need to really deepen your skill sets in terms of marketing, lead gen, and sales. And all of the NDs and the RDs and the osteos and the chiros and all of those people who've never been good at business or good at marketing, you're being shown right now that needs to be your priority, right?
Yes.
As those who are ahead. They know what to do. They were able to pivot. They had an email list, they had an audience, they had everything set up because they understood that they were a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a CEO first, and their professional designation second, in my opinion. So I want you to think about where you're going to be in 6 months from now. And I want you to really think about finances. You also probably can't afford to discount your pricing right now. So don't. You don't have to. And if you are having an emotional response to that, that's the work that you need to do. And you should be grateful for this season and this scenario bringing that up for you, because that's not just a COVID-19 thing. That feeling where you don't feel comfortable charging what you're worth, that's going to stay until you fix it, COVID-19 or not. So that was just, a couple of things that I was thinking about in terms of pricing. So we hope that this, again, was helpful. I'm looking to see what is on the agenda tomorrow. Can you find it?
I can. I have it tomorrow.
Go.
Oh, tomorrow we're talking about onboarding.
Oh, that's a fun topic.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
So so onboarding is, how do you actually complete the transaction? How do you then get to working with your client? We're going to talk about some platforms you can use, and we're going to talk about the must do things for a really successful client onboarding experience. So
yes,
thank you for hanging out. Please share this. If you have colleagues or even friends who are photographers or anybody who wants to get into the online space. I know we're talking to, practitioners and coaches, but this information is really applicable to anybody who's starting and growing online. So please share this. Please share this with your communities. Share this into Facebook groups that you're in. We're offering this to you for free because we have a lot of knowledge in our brains. And, now is the time more than ever for us to really, really, really like pound it into all of you that like, this is the stuff that you need to be focusing on because we want you to come out on top, and we know that you can. So you can. So with that, we will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.